Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to a brand new video or stream. We are streaming this live on YouTube right now. Some of you may be watching live. Some of you may be watching this after the stream is finished. I will be flagging up comments throughout the video or stream. So if you are watching live, be sure to let us know your thoughts in the live chat. And of course, if you're watching it back, be sure to leave us your comments in the comment section about today's Ask Wall series, which had been released. It's been teased and talked about for a number of weeks now. It was expected to be this week. I didn't expect them to throw all the videos out at once, but yeah, here we are. So guys, going to be giving my thoughts on it, reacting to each video separately. I'm going to do it in order, the order they were released in. So if you guys want to give me your thoughts on each section individually, obviously that would be helpful. If I'm talking about Bruno Lage, I'm not really going to be discussing your questions about Jeff Shee until we get to the Jeff Shee bit, but I know that's going to be the most talked about topic. So I really appreciate you guys obviously tuning in, and I'm going to obviously jump straight into it. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. Loads of content has already been dropped and will be dropped this summer, and be sure to hit the like button down below. So we're going to start off with Bruno Lage. I think it was the longest video out of the series, and the thing with Bruno is that he's been a very Marmite character throughout the season. There's been bits of his management and his style as a head coach that I've enjoyed, and there's been other parts that I haven't enjoyed so much. And it came to a point a couple of weeks ago that I was not that bothered, if I'm honest, about whether he was going to be our head coach next season. But this video sort of calmed me down a little bit. I think he showed the person that he is. He showed us as Wolves fans, and obviously speaking to the host Johnny Phillips, what he wanted to achieve as a head coach. First thing he did was introduce his staff. That's probably something I would have enjoyed watching probably this time last year, or knowing them a little bit in more detail, the exact roles they do. Although I think if you read into it enough, you probably could have found that out. But to know them on a personal level and Bruno Lage's experience with them, I enjoyed that part. But he has got a very positive mindset. For me, as I do a bit of football coaching, I would love an opportunity to sit down with him at some point just to discuss that sort of thing, because you can tell he's somebody that really understands and studies football to such a high level. Obviously, tactics as well with Bruno. He didn't rule out a tactical change. Again, like most of this Arsenal series, he was very vague, and I think a lot of the people avoided questions as such, and that's probably because of the stick that they got last year from this series. So he didn't rule out a tactical change. He didn't rule out new additions. I think he was very confident that they'd have more options for the start of next season than they do now. However, Bruno Lage did say that this time last year as well, didn't he? He was talking about how he wanted two good players in every position. There was a time towards the last week of the season or last few weeks of the season where he thought they'd still be signing another 4 first-team players, and I'm fairly certain we didn't sign one. So we've got to obviously take that with a pinch of salt as well. He did comment on the fans a little bit, Bruno Lage. He said he wants more from the fans, which I can appreciate. But at the same time, us as fans, we're going to give you a good atmosphere if we see good football. And probably for a good 50 to 60% of the season, I don't think we saw a good quality of football. I think he understood that a little bit as well. He did comment on that. But he does appreciate the fan support, and I think he wants a little bit more from us from next season. And like I said, with the players, he understands what he wants from his players. He was talking about a lot of players individually as well. So I think we have got a head coach there. As long as he's backed, he's going to do, at the very least, an okay job at Wolves. If anyone's got any questions or any points on Bruno Lage, feel free to bring them up in the chat now. I know a number of you guys are watching, maybe on your TV screens, maybe on your phone. So do let me know your thoughts. And if you want to share out the live stream, please do so on our Twitter as well. We'll move on very shortly to the Scott Sellars part. Now, to be fair, Scott Sellars probably wasn't as there probably wasn't as much detail in this video as I would have wanted or would have expected. But again, this goes back to my point about the amount of stick they got last year. And for some reason, For some reason or another, he has been the sort of scapegoat for the last 12 months at least. And I think whenever transfers aren't going to plan, or wherever a club isn't going to be spending money, you tend to look at the people upstairs. You look at the technical director. You look at the director of football. We saw that with Kevin Felwell as well. He was the first person and not the only person to say that Wolves as a club were extremely happy with the season. I think from their point of view, they probably were, because we got an all right finish without them spending a huge amount of money. They spoke about Ruben Neves as well. They want Ruben Neves to stay. Scott Sellars, you know, the sweet talker that is Scott Sellars, has spoken to Ruben Neves about staying. So I'm sure he will. Now Scott Sellars has spoke to him. And then obviously a lot of his talk was focused on the youth development side. That's his background. That's where he's come from. That's where he started with Wolves. And again, we've kept everything sort of in-house, and he's worked his way up to somehow becoming sort of director of football, technical director. But a lot of his points were focused on the youth side of things, focused on Luke Cundall, spoke about Morgan Gibbs-White, Dion Sanderson, and so on. And of course, he said if there are any sales this summer, he will push to make sure the money from those sales go towards new signings. You would assume that would be a given anyway. I'm not too sure why he had to bring that up, and it's a little bit worrying that he said that he would have to push for that money to be, you know, put back into the club. I don't know. Quick look at your comments here. Yeah, like Anthony said there about Bruno not being blown away, but he's also not been backed. And that's the situation I was sat in. I was sort of sat on the fence in regards to Bruno. I think we know, you know, the football hasn't been great at times this season, but I think we know it would be very unfair for us to get rid of him without him having being properly backed. And that's pretty much what Smuffs said here as well. Uncertain, but now that Justice Seals think he's done enough to be backed for another year. I think that's you know, exactly that. Ben, as you said, we need to see good football for the atmosphere to be better. Exactly that. I was going to do a video, and I still might do a video on a few things that Wolves need to improve in the future. An atmosphere, a match day experience was definitely going to be one of them. We will talk about that a little bit more, because there's a couple of bits later on in the Ask Wolves that bring up match day and match day experience and so on. Like Luke says here, do you believe Scott Sellars is useless at his job? I think it's very hard to know exactly. I think that Scott Sellars is doing about 100 jobs in one at the moment. So I don't think the 100% of the blame can be put on Scott Sellars. But at the same time, in terms of a recruitment, I think there's probably a lot of better people out there for it. But in terms of youth development and youth recruitment, I think he's okay at that job. But in terms of first team and in terms of actually trying to get this club to the next level, which again we'll talk about, I think there's better people out there as well. Just seeing if there's anything. Yeah, like Smoff says, Sellars is clearly passionate about youth football, should stick to that. Exactly. That's it, you know, that's exactly what I'm saying. So Joey said my mic must be in the wrong input. I don't know why he said that. Is it because I'm quiet? I could turn myself up if you want me to. There we go. Yeah, trouble with the bids, they weren't that recent. I think they were within the last 2 to 3 weeks before the season. To be fair, Pal, I don't think a huge amount has changed since then. I don't know. I don't think a huge amount would be different. And I suppose that's one of the reasons why, one, they've left it so late. I say late, like a week after the season. But two, they did them all separately, because if things changed, if Bruno was sacked, they just didn't upload his video, basically. Anyway, very quick look out. Mike's fine. There we go. When he's asked George out, yeah, hopefully soon. Right, we're going to go with the next one, which was Matt Jackson. So the next few were sort of, I'm not going to say boring, because they were interesting, but probably not the videos that everyone would go out their way to watch straight away. We've got Matt Jackson, who is what they class as the strategic player marketing manager, basically a glorified loan manager. I have met Matt Jackson before. I went to the Wolves 23s versus West Brom 23s game. I think it's before Christmas, with the sort of the player representatives and the scouts and stuff, and he was there. I didn't speak to him too much, but he was there to be spoken to. Seems a really open and welcoming person. Obviously, he enjoys his job. I think he's got a bit of a dream job, really. He travels a lot to watch football, predominantly the Wolves youngsters that are out on loan. He said he watches about 20 matches a month, which is quite good going, to be fair. And obviously, one of the big things was that he said that Wolves focus on a team style of play in terms of the players that go out on loan. Wolves want to make sure they're the right fit for the team, and I think that's his job really. Biggest example of that, which wasn't directly mentioned but sort of was hinted, was Theo Corbianu. Was out on loan at Sheffield Wednesday. That loan move didn't work or didn't make sense for how Wolves want Theo to play, and that loan got terminated. He moved to MK Dons, who played a much more attractive style of an attacking style of play, which would have suited him as a player. So I think in terms of players going out on loan, it's been very successful for Wolves. We've seen Morgan Gibbs-White, we've seen Dion Sanderson, we've seen Theo Corbianu, we've seen Ryan Giles. You know, there's been a number of good loans for Wolves this season. That is going to dramatically change next year because there are a lot of loan rules coming in. But I think in terms of his job, it sounds like Matt Jackson is doing it well. Just have a look at these comments. Yeah, Matt Jackson looks like he's been doing a good job. Like I said as well, guys, we're going to be talking a bit more about Jeff Shee shortly. So, you know, keep your comments in the back of your mind, or if you do comment something, make sure you pop it back in the chat later on as well. So this is a comment, Nick, that I will touch on. Fosun said money would be no object when they started, remember. They sort of did. They also said they wanted to be big as Manchester City. But if you remember the last year on Ask Wolves, Jeff Shee brought those comments up, and honestly, he said he regretted them. And I think a lot of people have forgot that Jeff Shee said that over 12 months ago. He said that he was naive. He said that he was new in the job, probably a little bit overexcited, and he regrets those comments. And he mentioned that on today's Ask the Wolves as well. So, like I said, we'll talk about that a little bit more. Benjamin, I lasted 5 minutes with a large video. Really lacks charisma. Do you think so? I think that maybe it's because, well, no disrespect to Bruno, but maybe it's because he has a foreign accent. But I don't think it was bland at all. To be fair, I thought it was quite intriguing. But you know. Yeah, any news about esports? Yeah, that I'm sure that will be they're coming up in a minute. Next two videos was from Laura Nicholls and John Hunter-Barrett. They're both head of academy operations. So Laura Nicholls does a sort of day-to-day sort of player care side of things. John Hunter-Barrett does more recruitment and looking at the player side of things. Both were pretty decent videos, to be fair, just for a slightly different look at how Wolves and what Wolves are doing behind the scenes. Laura Nicholls was talking about a potential ground change for the Wolves women. Now, this was before their playoff match to get promoted, so the chances are they're still going to be playing at AFC Wolverhamptonians in Castlecroft. I watched the Wolves women playoff game. Probably one of the worst games to pick because I know they really struggled in that game, but I'm definitely going to be making a little bit more of an effort to sort of go out my way to watch a few more of their games next season. But also hinted at a potential academy stadium for the Wolves women or academy. Now, I know this has been spoken about quite a lot before. I know there has been plans for this. I know they've been looking at areas for this, but it's quite a difficult situation at the moment, especially with what we'll talk about later on with the money and cash flow and all that sort of things. So definitely for future consideration. Talking about streaming matches as well. I know a lot of people like to watch the under-23s matches over on YouTube. They were talking about Wolves women games. Obviously, BBC iPlayer had the playoff game, which was quite interesting, although their journalist or their commentary was absolutely dreadful. But the worry for the club, especially with Wolves women, is if they start streaming games, it's going to lower attendances. It sort of comes hand in hand with sort of financial side of things as well. Obviously, they're going to be getting, I say financial things, you know, most of these games are free to season ticket holders, but, you know, they don't want to be, they want, like real life football, if they started streaming Wolves first team games, the attendances would probably go down a little bit as well. So it does make sense. And John Hunter-Barrett spoke about youth recruitment. He gave a little bit more of an insight on that. He seemed pretty switched on with what he wants to do. From the under-15s upwards, they play the exact same style as the first team. So we've seen it probably since when Nuno first started, really. I don't know if it's something that Nuno brought into the club, but from the under-15s upwards, they're all playing a back five system at the moment. And I think the under-23s at the moment, even the under-18s had a great run in the FA Youth Cup. The under-23s have had a phenomenal season. And the way they play football, if you haven't been able to watch much under-23s football or been able to watch it live, even if you have a spare couple of hours or spare 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just go back and watch some of the 23s games, because some of the football they've been playing recently is phenomenal, really. Just having a very quick look through your comments. Yeah, Kelvin said he thought the Bruno video was decent. I'm sure some people are trying to catch me out in this chat. So yeah, I'm not going to be. I might bring it up later on, guys, but I'm not going to be talking about transfers too much. Any news on pre-season? Absolutely nothing so far, which is a little bit annoying. Because I want to. Are we going to be going on the tour? We're going to be doing some content on the tour wherever it may be as well. Pray J says Bruno Lage needs back in. I think Luke says he thought Bruno came across very well, deserves next season to continue putting his stamp on the squad. Let me know in the comments what system do you want Bruno to play next season? Do you want to see him switch out from the 5? I think the 5 can work if you've got the right personnel, but why can't the academy or women play them on you? Now this was another point that they were speaking about. Obviously the operational side of things, pitch as well, Smoth. If you've got 3 different teams playing on the same pitch, the turf can, that's how it can, decrease in quality, that you could say. They were also talking about doing a women's match and a first team match on the same day. It's probably more likely going to be the women and the under 23s match, but that would be an interesting concept if they can get that to work as well. There's loads of comments, guys, so I appreciate the thoughts and comments there. I'll try and see if we can. Let me see. Oh, I'm actually using my webcam mic, aren't I?
There you go. Is my mic a lot better now? I do. People actually, you were being serious about my mic. I bet it's much better now, isn't it? I sound HD now. Thank you for actually telling me that. All right, there we go. I can't believe I was using the wrong mic. There we go. Well, let's move on to the next one, which was Rob Chakraverty. Oh my gosh. See, I should have checked these. I'm an amateur, guys. Rob Chakraverty. He's the doctor. Big up Rob because he follows Talking Walls on Twitter as well. Again, he seems, he's got huge amounts of experience. I think he said he had his degree in medicine or whatever since the late 80s. So, he's got experience there. He seems very switched on regarding the prevention of injuries and so on, and sort of went through what the club have been doing recently. I wish I could start this stream again now that I've changed my mic as well. So yeah, that was pretty switched on. If you want to read, I don't think there was too much to read in on that video as well, to be fair. So can I sub to your channel? Say yes or no. Do what you want to do. I'd say yes though. Yeah, Wolves fashion, a lot of people are bringing up. We'll talk about that surely. Okay, says it looks so clear that Scott Sellars is the final say. Lage doesn't seem to have no say apart from yes or no for at the back next season with the right players. Yeah, a lot of people going for the back 4, 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. There we go. Some of these comments, folks, come on now. This is going out on YouTube after, and you're putting me off. Moving on to Matt Wild. He's like the secretary at the club. He deals with like the more financial side of things. He's going to be somebody that looks into contracts, probably sorts out the finances on contracts, just looks at money coming in and out of the club, really. So spoke a lot about the deal with England and the FA. Obviously, we've had England women's games there. We've had England under 21s games, and we've got the England men first team playing at Molineux this summer. Let me know if you've got tickets, because I haven't. Let me know if you've got tickets to that. But I think it's the first time in about 60 years that the England senior men's team is going to be playing at Molineux, which is fantastic. Now, things are changing. He brought up the loan rules. Only 8 players, I believe, can go out on loan, as in, I think it's paid players, so you could probably get away with letting players go to non-league teams for nothing, but 8 paid loans per season now. I think a maximum of 3 can go to other clubs. So Grasshoppers, the whole Wolves Grasshoppers thing is going to be restricted quite considerably. It'll be interesting to see if Wolves look for other teams in and around Europe as well to send players out on loan. He brought up obviously the fact that Fosun had written off a huge debt in the recent finances. It was well over £100 million. That's one thing that a lot of people are forgetting, that Fosun wrote off a huge amount of money. Again, he was talking about expanding and improving of the training facilities. That's where he predominantly works. He said with the amount of people now working at the club, the training facilities were built and opened in about 2005. They're still a really good, I'm not going to quite say state of the art, but it's still a really good training complex in Compton. They've expanded, they've built a lot of things onto it, but they're either going to be talking about expanding it. they possibly could move it, but in Wolverhampton at the moment, I don't quite know where they would go. And then the sort of commercial side of things, he hinted at staging other events at Molineux. I think they had a Rod Stewart concert there a few years ago. They were talking about Wolves records quite a lot, so they're probably looking towards that side of things as well. Heard rumours of Walsall as an affiliate. Again, that would make sense, Dean. It'd be interesting to see if that, that always used to be a thing back in the day. We used to have friendlies against Walsall quite often as well. So it'd be very interesting to see. When we debt for it, I think so, Bib. But the thing is that Fosun spent so much money. I mean, correct. I'm dreadful with the financial side of things, but obviously we spent as a club, we spent like 100 and I think they wrote off about 140 million or something like that. Obviously with the transfers and the wages and stuff, they were a lot more than what the club was bringing in. So there was always going to be that little bit of debt there that the owners, have written off. Bruno even said he would love to push back free up to hold them in, but can't. I think he means code is too slow. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that we need to invest quite a bit in that area, really. I'm just seeing if there's any other comments that we have missed out. I think that is all for now. Oh, we get a new sponsor. That will bring me. We'll talk about that shortly. We are getting a new sponsor. Mamba X, our sponsorship is finished with them, so. We're going to be getting a new sponsor again. I don't know news on who it may well be, but we'll keep an eye out for that one as well. Right. Morgan Gibbs White contract news? No, not at the moment. So let's see. Next one was Steve Sutton. Again, no disrespect to Steve, but probably not one that fans are going to be rushing to watch at the start of binging the Ask All series. He's mainly the security and the maintenance side of things. Again, he's somebody that I've met before. Seems pretty switched on. Kind of looks at the operations of the club facility. So big talking point was sustainability. Walls are pretty low down for that sort of things. They're talking about, reusable plastic cups and that sort of thing. So I think long term, that side of things needs to be looked at by the club. But also he has recognised that part of this ground definitely needs updating. But again, no extra information on that. And that's, I think, an overall theme of the Ask All series. They've hinted at stuff, but not elaborated on certain things, because I don't think they want it to bite them on the backside. And I do wonder the amount of clipping, the amount of editing, the amount of vetting this series needed to have before it went out, to be honest. Guys, I'm not going to be talking too much about transfers on this video, on this stream, if I'm honest. Bring back Doritos. Yes. Pick up the Doritos. How come other clubs can spend 170 million plus? Who are you talking about in particular, Robert? Maybe Villa. The thing with Villa is obviously they sold Grealish for about 100 million pounds, so they've got so much flexibility in the market at the moment. New sponsor might be the one on the training tops. Is that Club Med? Is that Royal Caribbean? That wouldn't be a bad one, to be fair. Astro Pay is a rumor. Let's have a look. Anything else? Let's hope I think the Steve Ball stand is pretty much the one that they've been hinting at the most at the moment. So, yeah, Club Med would be a decent one. I think they've probably got the financial flexibility and the financial muscle to do it. That's what people have got. That's what people have got to realise, that the club, whoever sponsors the shirt, it's got to generate a decent amount of money. It's got to be worth doing it. There's no point in them doing. I know people talk about Goodyear, but have Goodyear got the financial power to do it anymore? Probably not. Or Ncuba Bites, main sponsor or sleeve, or what's the Mega Chippy? Binley Mega Chippy on the front of the shirt. Who knows? Yeah, Doritos would be a good one as well. So we move on to, again, Vinnie Clarke. He was somebody that got a lot of stick. I think his video was a little bit better this year, wasn't he? He won't get as much stick. I think he's switched on quite a lot over the last 12 months. He's created a lot of support groups, whether that be for merchandise, whether that be for tickets. They're working, he pretty much revealed they're working with partners to improve the food and the drink in the stadium. which again, I don't eat much or drink much in the grounds, if I'm honest. So I'm not that bothered about things. I think as long as I keep Balti pies, I'll be sound. I do enjoy one of those maybe once a season. So they're working on that. They're working on getting a bigger range in at the moment. They were talking about the revenue in the South Bank this season has had a huge rise. I saw somebody say it's probably because the football's no good on the pitch that people are just staying in the ground. But I think that's gone up a massive amount just in the one stand, to be honest, as well. Now, they spoke about the positioning of away fans in the stadium, and Johnny Phillips, for some reason, said the away fans love the lower Steve Ball. Now, pretty much every away fan I speak to or have seen always moan about the lower Steve Ball because it is normally so wide and long that they can't really get any atmosphere in there. I know Nuno for a fact hated the away fans being there as well because he always said the first thing that happened when the players walked out of the tunnel, they saw the away fans. They were the first thing they saw. Now, I know at the moment with the current structure and the current setup of the Steve Ball, it is very difficult to change that setup at the moment. For me, in an ideal world, they'd have... I don't know. I get it from one point of view, from, a Wolves fan point of view. I don't really want the away fans to create a huge amount of atmosphere. But at the same time, I think if the away fans do create a good amount of atmosphere, it will spur the home fans to create a good amount of atmosphere. So ideally, they'll have the upper and the lower of the Steve Ball, about half of it. And then I think that would really get the South Bank and other stands going quite well, I think. But at the moment, with the current setup of the Steve Ball, with the current turnstile situation, with the current security situation, it's not feasible until they build another stand or rebuild the Steve Ball. So, Kelvin knows. Away fans hate being there. That's what they mentioned. I think as well, another thing, Vinnie Clarke obviously spoke about Castor. It's been a very popular item. They've sold a huge amount of shirts. They've been able to do it cheaper. I know people have moaned about the sale prices, but I think Wolves are merchandising it themselves or supplying it themselves now. So I know how much Wolves pay for each shirt. So I know that they're making profit on they could sell it for a tenner, 15 quid, and I know they're making profit on it. And that's why we've been able to see so many sales this year. I think he said the average price for a home shirt was about 24 quid, which is an absolute bargain. Like any walk of life, if you buy something brand new, if you bought the FIFA 22 or whatever when it first came out, it's going to be more expensive than it is now. It's just how things go, really. So I have seen people moan about the price of the shirt go down, but it happens every single season. He is also open to the idea of voting on a kit. Although he wasn't that warm to it, I think he said it's definitely an option they can't rule out in the future. Maybe we'll see if enough fans push for it. It might come anyway. So let's have a look. What is the capacity for North Bank corner? Can't we just put away? I think it's no, it's not 3,000. I think it's about. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's about 2K. But for me, I think that would kill any atmosphere at Molineux anyway, because they're the complete opposite end to the South Bank. I think the closer and the more away fans there are to the South Bank, that will improve the atmosphere. James, you bang on there as well. That's why the pro shirts, although we have had deals on the pro shirts, they've always been a little bit more expensive. Although you have been able to get them, and again, I know of where they get them from as well. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on Castor though. As you can see, I'm a big fan. I know Shiv joked about it as well this morning. But yeah, Josh, who knows, mate? Yeah, there we go. No way, Dave wearing Castor. There you go. 1,800, so I wasn't far off with the 2K shout. What are your thoughts on the leaked kits as well, guys? Obviously, the leaked kits that are out, I'm fairly certain are going to be the kits, although the pictures aren't great. We did a video about it a few weeks ago as well, so let me know your thoughts on that. Moving on to the last two people now. We've got Russell Jones, who a lot of people... I think all the business side of things, Jeff Shee should not have spoke about. It should have all gone through Russell Jones. He spoke, obviously, a huge part of Wolves at the moment is the Wolves esports team. They've got a number of professional esports teams over in China. Their top player is absolutely huge over there. He's got more social media followers than Raul Jimenez, for argument's sake. So I get it. I get it as from a business standpoint. I get what they're trying to achieve with esports. I think, again, I know Joey's in the chat knows a lot about it than me, but I know the finances and so on esports will go through the roof in the next few years or so. They are working on possibilities of other documentaries as well. They spoke a little bit about the Raul Jimenez Code Red documentary, which, you know, was difficult to watch at times, but overall an absolutely fantastic documentary. They're talking about other things and possibly in the future other documentaries coming out. I would love some type of all or nothing Wolves series. I don't think it will happen short term, but I would love something like that in the future. I've really enjoyed the City and the Spurs ones, and obviously the Arsenal one that's going to be coming out in the future as well. Like I mentioned earlier, ManBetX, the sponsor, is going. Now, it hasn't been officially confirmed, but I'm pretty sure it was spoke about a few months ago. I think it was Daily Mail said that they were in talks. The FA and the Premier League were in talks about basically banning betting front of shirt betting sponsors from next season. Now, I don't think it's been officially confirmed, but it wouldn't surprise me to see if Wolves try and come away from it. It wouldn't surprise me to see some sort of cryptocurrency. I know somebody mentioned it earlier. But again, as long as it looks okay on the shirt, we've had a few sponsors recently which just don't suit the shirt whatsoever. The Money Shop, I think, was the Money Shop the one before ManBetX, which I just don't think worked. So we need a sponsor that works on the shirt. So let's see what happens there. Talking about match day experience, I spoke about this earlier. Russell Jones was open to removing the goal music. He thought the fans enjoyed it or liked it, but again, he was open to removing it. So let me know your thoughts on the goal music as well, folks. And that the club are prioritising things in this order. They're prioritising the team, then they're prioritising the training ground, and then they're prioritising the stadium. So the stadium isn't high up on the club's agenda right now. If it, you know, one of the things they want to improve is the Steve Ball stand, but again, at the moment, it's not high up on their agenda. The fan zone, which has been quite popular, sort of in between. I think it's between, well, it's not sort of on the corner of the South Bank by the subway. Like I said, that's been extremely popular. They've got council plans in at the moment to make that a permanent fixture. And then they spoke about Wolves cryptocurrency, Wolves NFTs, that sort of stuff goes all over my head. And I don't know, you know, like I said earlier, maybe if that comes to fruition, I'll get someone on the channel that knows a lot more about that sort of stuff as well. Oh, W88, mate, I'm daft, aren't I? See, you know, W88, that looked all right, didn't it? W88, that wasn't a bad sponsor. Wasn't a bad sponsor. Let's see if Wolves coming to the United States. No, they're not. Unfortunately, that plan was cancelled. Unfortunately, there you go. Wolves made more than FaZe last year in esports. You know, there we go. Let's see who else. Got my Castor stuff from Classic Football Shirts a month. Yeah, Classic Football Shirts. Richard had some mad offers. They sent me some stuff. I think I've got the box in there. They sent me a pro shirt. I've never worn it. I almost feel like it's too good, too good to wear. Yeah, I know. And again, in the Castor shop in Cannock has got a lot of deals on at the moment as well. So let's see what happens on that front. But yeah, Castor thing at the moment, things are looking good. You know. Let's see what else. No goal music means no one goes. See, Russell Jones's thinking behind it was that because the fans chant the song, that means they want it. But I don't know. I think they should just get rid of it from next season. So show us the hall, mate. Let me think off the top of my head. Like you were all joking about my Castor collection. Let me think how many Castor items I've got. Yeah. I've probably got 8 or 9 Castor items, not including Wolves shirts. I don't think that's too much, and I'm drinking Pepsi, not red wine. Yeah, they did mention Wolves gets a PlayStation Home. Is PlayStation Home even a thing anymore? I used to play that when I was about 10, so I'm not sure if that. I don't know. So, and now, guys, we move on to the main event, which is Jeff Shee. Again, like I said earlier, Scott Sellars said he was extremely happy with how the season went. Jeff Shee said the exact same thing. On and off the pitch, he was happy with what it was. The thing with Jeff Shee is, well, let me move on to that in a minute. Firstly, he said that if Wolves had any chance to compete with the best, they will compete with the best in regards to Europe. For me, in January, Wolves had a perfectly good chance of competing with the best if the club put their hand in their pocket and improved the overall playing squad with quality players. Wolves are in a position in January, especially towards the end of January, because we had such a good month. We were in a position to genuinely be fighting comfortably for Europa League football, and we didn't take that chance. The only signing up we made was it Chiquinho came in. We made a few recalls. Hwang Ki-chan. So that was a chance missed. But then Jeff Shee kept referring to Wolves as a brand rather than a club. I think Johnny Phillips was trying his hardest to insinuate that Wolves was a club, but Jeff Shee just kept calling it a brand, and that was doing my head in. He obviously wants to grow the fan base globally. He brought up the amount of people in Wolverhampton that support Wolves and said that's not enough, which, okay, I can understand. And as a club to grow, we have to go globally as well. But I think that's all he's bothered about at the moment. So that's the one thing that frustrated me slightly, that they're just bothered about Wolves as a brand. Now, I saw, again, somebody mentioned it earlier, to grow Wolves as a brand, the main thing you got to do first is grow Wolves as a club. And that's what Manchester City, that's what Newcastle United will do. I guarantee Newcastle, if we don't spend decently this summer, Newcastle will finish above us in the league. They will start fighting for European football before they are even bothered about flipping Newcastle records, Newcastle esports. Mate, they will spend money and break into the top 6, top 7, and that's what Wolves have got to do. And Jeff Shee kept bringing up Newcastle because I think he knows that they're all of a sudden a competitor, and that Wolves may have to look over their shoulder, or at least start putting their hand in their pocket a little bit more. Every single video in this Ask Wolves series was sort of shying away from the fact that Wolves need to improve. He also made the comment that Wolves will not be able to spend money to break into the top 4 or top 6. He basically said like Wolves cannot spend the right amount of money to break into the next level, which I get to a degree, because the Champions League is so far off at the moment. But the Europa League was doable, and I think at the moment with the squad that we've got, if we actually spent 20-30 million quid more in the last 12 months, we would be having a completely different discussion right now. So, and I've told some people before, I spoke to Jeff Shee last year about coming on the channel. He spoke to me about it. He said I'm not going to say he wanted to come on the channel, but he says he's aware of the channel. He likes our content, but because of Ask Wolves, he will not come on the channel. And I think the whole series is a way, and I know so many people are talking about lack of communication from the club. This whole series now gives me the feeling that let's put out this series in the summer, and then we don't have to say jack all for the next 12 months. So that's what this overall feeling gives to me. But the thing that frustrated me the most with that one was that he kept calling Wolves a brand rather than a club. And there we go. Corporate. Yeah. He just want, and I appreciate Wolves are a business, and I appreciate Wolves have got to make money, but you're not going to make money if you're just doing that in the league. You'll make money if you're doing that in the league, but I think it'll be interesting next few years, because if we start just sitting still and maybe dropping down a couple of places every season, and prices keep going up, yes, there's a waiting list at the moment, but that'll soon shrink down. And in the next few years, we'll just be an ordinary Premier League club again. Should get me to be fair, Johnny Phillips was bang on with the interviews. He was, and I think he's got the right. He's a Wolves fan, obviously. He's got the right sort of approach. He's got the right sort of approach. We're trying to get a bit more information out of the people. Drink some water. I've got some Harrison there. Big up PlayStation Home as well. Anyone else? Mate, the Hwang cookies thing, it was even brought up again in the Bruno Lage interview. He spoke about how Hwang brought him cookies for his birthday. Why? This has just turned out to be a meme now. Yeah. Like I said, he just spoke about the business side of things so much more than so much more than actual football. So, you know what, Evan? I thought about this earlier as well. I thought Coca-Cola would be a decent sponsor as well. Yeah, Kelvin, again, I was disappointed with the Jeff Sheet. I get it from one point of view, right? Jeff Sheet cannot go, again, this is what I mentioned earlier as well, that somebody said, folks have said money's not an issue. They did say that, or Jeff Shee said that, but last year, like I said, he sort of retracted that statement and he said he was naive, he was stupid, he's learned a lot. Fair enough, you know, he's held his hands up, and he sort of mentioned that again today. But he's not going to come out in this interview saying, yeah, we're gonna massively spend this summer, because, you know, Express Star, Birmingham Live, Talking Wolves, whoever are going to post that. And as soon as Wolves start bidding for players, they're going to be like, actually, no, you've said here that you're going to spend shitloads of money, so we'll want £10 million more. So again, they want to keep their cards close to their chest, but we haven't seen them spend wisely or properly since we got promoted. So it's not going to, well, I understand why people that watch the channel know I'm positive. I'm always positive. But it's wise for us as fans to think they're not going to spend the money easy. Angle's only signed to grow the brand. I would probably agree, but for some reason, Bruno Lage absolutely loves him as well. So, yeah, Newcastle, you know. Let's see. Morgan, oh, come on. Fosun over Steve Morgan for sure, you know. Yeah, again, financial fair play was brought up a lot, but Newcastle will get their model bang on. Newcastle will get their model bang on, because what Newcastle will do, they sign Chris Wood for X amount. Probably by the end of next season, they'll get rid of somebody like Chris Wood for 15, 20 million. Someone like Alan St-Maximin, and their financial fair play just almost resets itself then. So, you know, they'll be switched on with it. Whereas as Wolves fans, we've been quite fortunate because, you know, we haven't had to lose too many big players. So it will be interesting to see if Ruben Neves is sold, how we reinvest that money. Jeff Shee is an avid Talking Wolves follower. You know, this time last year, he said he enjoyed the content. After that rant, possibly not. I don't know. Let's see what else. Yeah. I think that's what it is with Ask Wolves, Joe. I think that's what it is. I could message him again now, and I'll get it. Obviously, it's straight after Ask Wolves. It'll just be the exact same reply. So, to be fair, he said to me if I ever had any questions, he'd answer them. But I know for a fact if I say Jeff spend some money, he'll tell me to do one. So, if she doesn't see now, I don't think we'll get relegated. I don't think we'll get relegated, but especially with the results over the last 3 months or so, it's not encouraging. It's not encouraging at all. So, what you talking about? What you are talking about is what happened with Benfica. The president wants to make money like a corporation and win titles. Now, is this or was this Sporting? No, it was Sporting. The one with the massive debacle, wasn't it? But you know, yeah. I think, Joe, again, the corporate, the making money thing should have been going down. It should have been discussed by Russell Jones. It should have been discussed by Vinnie Clarke and to a degree Matt Wild, because they're the three that are in charge of commercial, marketing, and the club secretary. Jeff Shee, let's say, and 75%, and that's being kind, was about, again, the exact same thing overall. So, you know, if they don't invest this summer, fans are going to turn on the board. I think people already are, Nath. And this summer is massive for the club. I'm not bothered about them signing a player right here, right now, because I've said this on my Twitter. A lot of people are getting het up about Aston Villa already spending money. We're only a week after the season. Players are still on international duty. Players are on holiday. But it will get to a point, you know, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, if we're not signing players, then there's going to be a problem. And again, I mentioned that earlier, Adam. It is a little bit of a concern that he had to even mention that was, you know, that he would have to push for the money to be reinvested. So sorry, there's loads of comments, guys. I'll try and get through these as much as you get. Would you rather Jeff got heavily involved in the football aspect and run the club into the ground like Everton? If you want to talk about recruitment issues, you need to look elsewhere. I'm not saying that Jeff Shee should get him more involved, because if I'm honest, and this is, I'm sure, no disrespect to Jeff, he hasn't got a clue about football in regards to he can't be like a director of football, for argument's sake. So I don't mind him getting more involved in the financial side of things. But all of this has sort of been a build-up over the last few years of him obviously running this club, obviously wanting a close-knit group of people that doesn't work. So he needs somebody, and again, this was something I was going to address on another video. He needs somebody a lot more experienced with football operations and director of football operations than Scott Sellars, who's doing 3 or 4 different jobs, who obviously does not have a clue in regards to first team football. But the fact that Jeff Shee has come on to this and just not said the right things, in my opinion, it is a little bit of a concern. Am I that boring, Chris? Tom, Matt and Finn. Yeah, sorry. Come on, Chris. Let's see what else is yeah, again, sorry, Dave, no transfer news today, but I'll be sure to upload some over the next few days or so. We're going on to the newer comments now. Always enjoy talking Wolves. Keep it the great content. Can't say I'm not worried. I'm not that worried for the future. Everything that I'm hearing from us. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think if they're worth watching. These, I think the Bruno one, if you've got time, is possibly worth watching. The Jeff Shee one, if you want to get angry at yourself, possibly is worth watching. But if you're just invested in the football side of things at Wolves, I probably wouldn't. You're probably not that bothered, to be fair. I recognise your name, by the way, Alex. I don't know why. Probably a long shot, Renato Sanchez. Yeah, I think that ship has sailed, and unfortunately, man. Jeff said in the video, we need players from different countries. We can't do business without players in Asia. Pretty much, Evan. And I mean, to be fair, Hwang was the next best thing for them, because they've made no secret of it since we were in the Championship and since Fosun took us over. They were looking for a Chinese player. We were linked with Wu Li quite closely. We went to Espanyol. They've signed Dong Dehi. They've signed Ming Yang. They've signed Sunday. They've signed David Wang. And again, Hwang is the best of a very bad bunch there. No disrespect to those young players. So none of them have worked really. So who's the lad? Hongwan as well, or someone like that, who actually went to the Asia Cup as well and came on for a little bit as well. So new notes. Oh my word, Ian, come on now. One of the first things again, Dean, exactly that. They've come in. They've got is it Ashworth, proper director of football. Put their money where their mouth is, and yeah, exactly that as well. I think Wolves are too careful with their transfers. They've tried too hard to keep it to try and get the right transfers, and sometimes. But then you say that, and they've signed players who are like Fabio Silva, but the £35 million could have been reinvested somewhere else so much better than that. Martin Neto, heard it here first. And again, Chris, exactly that. I think that's been the story, and that was something that obviously Steve Morgan got completely wrong. Obviously spent a lot of money on the stadium and sort of, not going to say neglected, but obviously didn't invest enough into the playing squad, and that's the season we got relegated, really. So, oh my word, who is this guy spamming up the chat? Alex, that was the Banks' question. Did you? This is proper random for the live stream. Did you used to play FIFA Pro Clubs PlayStation 3 back in the day? Again, Hayo Kawabi, a deal that I just completely don't understand. There are people genuinely thinking this guy is going to come back and be, and get into the first team. I don't know. Someone think of a forfeit, because if he comes into our first team and plays regularly next season, I've got to do it, because I cannot see what's happening there. Minamino, again, wouldn't be a bad player, would he? Would not be a bad player at all. Seems an okay first team player as well. So, and Ben, that's in regards to Nuno, that's possibly a reason why he walked / was sacked. They said a mutual agreement. So yeah, who knows, mate? Who are these spam accounts in the chat here? I'm gonna have to pay one of you to be a mod. Yeah, Kawabi's 26, I think. So that's why. Palinha, no update on that right now. Kawabi face tattoo. I mean, that's a bit much, A bit much. Alex, I've got the wrong Don. I'm sure there was a guy called Alex. Mate, I'll think about that another time. And I think, guys, unless anyone's got any questions, I think I've covered it all. So I've spoke about Bruno Lage, spoke about Scott Sellars, Matt Jackson, Laura Nicholls, John Hunter-Barrett, Rob Chakraverty, Matt Wild, Steve Sutton, Vinnie Clarke, Russell Jones, and Jeff Shee. So there we go. Thoughts on Saif's departure. Again, very weird that the player had to announce it on his Instagram before the club did. Maxwell Cornet at Wolves. I think there's better out there, Neil, for the money, if I'm honest. What was my overall feeling for the series? I don't know. It wasn't as bad as I expected. I think people have overreacted slightly to it. If you just sit back and sort of everyone, and I sort of understand it. The fans, probably 90% of the guys that I follow on Twitter, or 90% of the guys that are on Twitter, they care about one thing, and that one thing is signing players and winning football matches, which I 100% understand. But when you actually sit back and you got to look at the bigger picture, the business side of things, the club are switched on with that. But like I said earlier, the football needs to come first. Then the football needs to come before the esports, before the NFTs, before Pedro Neto playing Fortnite. It needs to come before all of them. And at the end of the day, that's what us as fans pay the money for. We're not a brand. That's what we want, really. So well, again, this was the Steve Ball stand was one that they were going to, and I think lockdown possibly halted plans on this. They were, and I don't understand how it would work, but they were going to do that in two parts. They were going to be keeping I can't remember what order. Basically, they were going to do the upper and the lower tier separately. So they would keep one half of it open. But obviously, it would restrict our season ticket holders and our attendance quite considerably. So I don't know, but it's sinking. They need to improve it. Not in the last 10, 15 years, I haven't sat in the Steve Ball. So I don't know how bad it is, but I know people are, struggling quite a lot. I think they are doing esports effectively, just not in the UK. The Asian market's absolutely huge, and Wolves are winning tournaments, and Wolves are making money out of it. Like I said, they've got professional teams over there. But from our point of view, I don't think it's that big in the UK at the moment. Their content creator thing, I don't get. As in the Wolves Esports UK content creator thing, I don't get. But the actual professional side of things, I think they're doing quite well with. I really didn't like Ask Wolves this year. I felt as if it was more talking about business and Wolves up. Yeah, that's exactly the thoughts as well. I think we'll see a mix of both, Michael. Wolves 4 at the back and 5 at the back. I think we'll make top 10 next season. But as I said earlier, you lot know me. Always a positive. Love the comedy work as well, Michael. Keep that up, son. Is João sorry, LBW, that spelling's mad. Is Joey Palhinha our potentially coldest signing we're going to make? Coldest? I don't know what that means, if I'm honest. How can Fosun go from being the new city to we can't afford a new stadium, can't buy players without selling, and got to make I don't know. I don't know what the reason for that is, not for them not investing. And there are rumors and there's talks that it could be to do with the government in China. They're not allowed, passing money through, but I don't know how true that is. I don't think that's very true at all. But I don't know where the stance has changed on that, to be honest. As a company, Fosun are making millions and even billions a year, so I don't know what's changed really. But like I said earlier, they need to, they need to start investing into the team on the pitch. Lodge wanted to keep Ruddy and Matinho overall by Sellars. Not good if I was him. I'll make it walk. Again, the Matinho thing is not agreed at the minute, Robert. I think the Matinho one is down to contract length. The Ruddy one is a strange one. I admit that. Lars said he wanted to keep him. I don't know why the club have agreed to let him go. So, football clubs are brands, but they're brands that sell themselves through results on the pitch. Exactly that. Exactly that. Oh man, there's loads of questions. I appreciate all the comments, guys. Steve Ball, wasn't it? Keep bottom and I'll build the top. Yeah, that was it. Something like that. They were definitely going to do it in two separate parts. Is Morgan Gibbs White getting an England call up this year? If he's playing in the Premier League, I'll put money on Morgan Gibbs White to be called up to the England squad. 20 million. I'll be open to discussions for in and around that price, if I'm honest. Yeah. What was said about FFP? They didn't really go into FFP too much. I think Jeff Shee kept using that as an excuse, but our FFP surely can't be too bad. Surely can't be too bad. Has the transfer window opened? No, not yet. Not officially, but you can still, you can still sign players. I'm not Fosun out, Kieran. I'm not Fosun out. But they still need to start putting their hands in their pockets. What would be the breaking point? I don't know. I think Fosun and Jessie, the impression I got was that they're just happy to be in the Premier League, which obviously I spoke to somebody. Again, I'd had a few drinks on Saturday, but I spoke to some lads at the pub about this, and I think Fosun and Nuno, I don't know if they were expecting us to do as well as we did, as quick as we did. And obviously with the pandemic and lockdown coming in the middle of it, it's just thrown a huge spanner in the works. So you think first season was crap under Fosun. They learned from their mistakes. We got a fantastic manager and we signed fantastic players for the level, won the league comfortably. Next season, finished 7th in the Premier League. Every single one of us wouldn't have imagined that. Phenomenal job. Finished 7th again. And we were disappointed at that, to miss out on Europe that second season. And our first dip, where did we finish? Like 14th in the league. And that's when everyone's like flipping it. What's going on? We should be doing way, way better. And we've, again, finished higher, and it's still a disaster. We set ourselves as a club such high standards. And I don't think Fosun were probably expecting to continually having to pay the amount of money. I don't think they've realised they will have to continually pay, I don't know, 70, 80 million every single summer to keep up with other teams. And I don't think they've realised that. Oh. Could you punch your window? Donate 30 quid to the chat and I'll punch my window. Have I seen Palhinha play? Parts of him. I'm not going to say I'm an avid watcher of João Palhinha, but I don't think he's a direct replacement in terms of style for Neves, but he's probably a bit more of a defensive player. Those who know Shiv works at the Mount Hotel as a chef, so he's got a few insights, to be fair. So Leaving Molineux is the breaking point. Again, they were talking about moving stadiums. I think deep down, the ownership probably want to move stadiums. And but everybody in and around Wolverhampton knows that could completely kill the city. Absolutely kill the city. American Wolves fan here. What is the likelihood that we lose Neves this off-season? How will it affect us? So it's mad the difference in vocabulary the Americans have off-season. How it will affect us, I feel like the Jota one was weird because he wasn't, at the time we sold him, he wasn't actually like a first choice player. Neves obviously is. And it's going to be difficult because, we've held on to him. Again, Wolves fans got to accept that we probably didn't expect to have him for longer than a season or two. So the fact that we've been able to keep him for 4 or 5 seasons has been phenomenal. So I think as long as we get the right amount of money for him, then, Wolves fans will be happy with that. But we need to reinvest that money very wisely. And if we're able to sign 2 or 3 players with the money we sell Neves for, as long as they're good, competent players, I think it's going to be a good deal for the club. Smash the like button, guys. Big up Mitch for that. Any others? There's a lot of comments, guys. Like now, if we make any signs of what's your ideal transfer window, off the top of my head, I'd struggle to pick out some players. To be fair, but what am I thinking about Sellars, especially considering he's not? Yeah, we spoke about it a bit earlier, James. I think he's probably okay at what he does, i.e., the youth recruitment side of things, what he actually came to the club to do. But as a first team player recruiter, director of football type person, the club need to get somebody else properly in for that as well. I think the club has hit a glass ceiling both on and off the pitch. Yeah, I would say so. Without spending some money, I think they've hit the glass ceiling. But if we recruited properly, then we'd be laughing really. Yeah, exactly. We could get 80 million for him, but if we're going to sign a load of rubbish, then it's not going to work, is it? So, man, these spam accounts are mad. Do you see Fosun ever selling Wolves? So the thing, I think Fosun, if they ever put Wolves up for sale, would want a figure that, as of today, say for I would say they put Wolves up for sale, they would want a figure that I would deem unrealistic. So, Campana, mate, respect Campana, mate. I don't know. He's obviously in MLS right now, but I don't think he'll be back at Wolves, if I'm honest. Good to see Sace go. Rudiger. Yeah, Sace fell off a little bit the last few months, to be fair. I think it's probably the right time to let him go. See, the FFP with the... Not so much, Sean. But I think what would happen a little bit like, and I mentioned this, I think, on one of the podcasts, what would happen in regards to like a bit like the Jota deal, you would possibly do 2 different transfers. So say for argument's sake, we sell Neves for 60 million, we might sign somebody, for an example, Nico Gonzalez for 15, 20 million. And it helps Barca's FFP and then it helps our FFP as well. Because how it works, it sort of favours you in selling players. And buying them if you put them on long contracts. That's why you'll see when Wolves sign players, they normally put them on 5-year deals. And that means it's spread across the financial fair play then. Who's more likely to play in a Wolves shirt? Oh, it's probably Kawabi, but, This was only meant to be a small, quick stream, lads, but, loads of questions firing in. I rate it. How many under 23s do I see promoted? At the moment, I think Kundal is good enough to make sporadic starts. Chem Campbell could maybe get there, but probably needs a loan. I like Hugo Bueno. At the moment, it's probably only those 3. Maybe Sarkic at a push if you include him. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I think Well, the thing is, Wolves, yeah, Fosun now, like they got the Wolves records and all that stuff. Would they give all of that up? And I think that's probably obviously just increasing their portfolio and stuff like that. I'm not gonna ask my girl, mate. She would say no. If I did that at halftime in any game this season, I would be a single man. Is Kundal? We need goal scorers. Is Kundal the answer? I don't think Kundal doesn't scream goal. Although he's doing okay with the 23, Shane, he doesn't scream a goal scorer to me. Anybody else? I mean, Joe Hodge. Yeah, Joe Hodge has looked okay. Again, I think he needs a full season in the 23s. Maybe in and around I think pre-season will be big for a lot of these players as well. As you know, a lot of young players go with the team. It might be in Germany. If it's in Germany, like I said, me and Matt will be going. We'll do loads of content out there. But I think a lot of these players will go there, you know. Polinia, Dendonka, Ricky Puig, Gonzalez, and Martinez. See, that's a good depth. That is a good depth, Jamie. Possibly a better number 10 in there. Or maybe add Morgan to that, and I think you got a decent setup there. Do you think Wolves will keep Morgan Gibbs White? I think so. I've got a feeling they will at the minute. I got a feeling they will. All right, everyone loves Joe Hodge. Big up Tim Spears propaganda, man. Ryan Giles again. It sounds like Wolves might keep him, but you know what? I've got these headphones on as well. I'm not even listening to anything. I don't know why I'm wearing them. Connor Ronan to be sold. Yeah, I think Ronan will go. Shabani probably a loan out again. Jack Price, mate. What a baller. So you signing any free agents? Yeah. Again, I did a video on that yesterday. If you want to check that out, check that out. Did 5 free agents Wolves should sign. I don't think we will. It's not a market we normally go in, but you know, who knows? Premier League players. I think a lot of Premier League players will cost a lot more than what Wolves will want to pay now as well. Again, I did a video on relegated players. I did a video on free agents. I included Christian Eriksen, somebody like that as well. Possibly Shiv. I've mentioned it before. I know of quite a few people that got married at Molineux as well. But like I said, I've mentioned it as a joke to my missus before, and she's not warm to the idea. 6th of August, I think, Raphael, the Premier League season starts, or that weekend at least. I think at Lavelle, it might be a possibility, to be fair. Might be a possibility. I hope not, has he? He played, Ed, he played as a striker. If you remember, back in the Asia Cup, Asia Trophy, whatever it's called, him and Jota played up front because Jimenez wasn't there. And he did all right. I think he scored in the first game against Newcastle. Yeah, Andy, again, yeah. I mentioned it earlier, just so much emphasis on the business side of things as well. Best pub pre- and post-match, without fail, normally go to the Royal Oak on the Compton Road. Royal Oak. Compton Road. Is that like... So I work in Compton and I drive up to the game normally. So is that the one that's sort of in between the grammar school and Chapel Ash, maybe? But I know a lot of people going to town, the Royal London, the Hog's Head. But again, the Goose, I don't normally do pubs, to be honest. Oh, my word, these spam accounts. What on earth? I'm sorry, Naked HD. I'm not getting naked on stream. I'm sure many people would want to see it. But forehead reveal. There we go, mate. It's a decent hairline, that is. You got to admit. It's not a bad forehead, is it? OGs will remember the slick back hair anyway. Bruno Jourdain again. I don't know, man. It's a crucial summer for him, really. I think he needs to go with the team pre-season and see what happens, really. Young Sam Bin, I think he's at Grasshoppers for another year on loan. They've got him on loan for next season as well. When is the buzz cut coming back, mate? What a trim that was. What a trim. Yeah, I think Lage will be here next season. Okay, now I think if Wolves were going to pull the plug, that would have happened already. Good feeling about new shirts once about. What's the? I said that a good one would be. Is it Cyberwolf or something like that? They came in as a new sponsor, like the security sponsor. But again, I don't think they'll have the money to pay for a sponsorship. Oh my word. Okay, what are you doing? Absolute legend. Dropping the £5 special chat, you absolute beast. All right, that, mate. Thank you very much. You absolute legend. Absolute legend. New sponsor, Grill It. Yes, get on it. Love that. The style. Big up the style. Still. Is it old still? Not style, flipping it. Still. By Little Sainsbury's. That's the one. Vets of Pets. Yeah, it's by the grammar school, isn't it? By the Sainsbury's. I got you, mate. By Sainsbury's on Compton Road. It's by the grammar school. I wasn't far off. Just slip back. Royal Caribbean. I think that's a shout at the moment. I think that's a shout. Good year would be nice as well. Dave, odds on getting the Fabio hairstyle. I'd need to perm it, mate. I did have a perm back in the day. Absolutely horrific trim. But I don't know if I can. My hair is just naturally quite straight. It's turned into a fashion vlog now, but working drinking the Swan. Yeah, I work right next to the Oddfellows, directly opposite the Swan. So I've done the Swan once. It's a proper drinkers pub, that is. But Tsingtao beer. See, what was that as the sponsor, didn't they? The for the title winning bus. So maybe get that in the grounds as well. BetMate as a new sponsor, mate. Imagine the amount they're paying us. They could probably get away with it, to be fair. Yeah, again, Tom, it would be interesting because, you know, like I said, a limit of 3 players now could go out on loan. So they've already got Young Sang Bin. Bender Goods Boller will come back. So you might see a lot of players go there on a permanent deal. And then Wolves have some sort of buyback clause on them, which might be a thing. Grillet is not bad, LBW. If you've got an issue with Grillet, you say it to me. Oh, my word. Jeremy with a $10. You absolute goat, man. From America, no idea about what it buys you, but thanks for all the work now, man. Appreciate that. The two guys that have donated, you absolute goats, man. I really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. All the OGs remember the slick back. Kelvin knows. New arm sponsor, Talking Walls. I really don't think our budget pushes for that, to be fair. Do I think Forest will buy more Gibbs White? So at the moment, it sounds like it's Forest, Southampton, or Leeds that are interested. $10 dingo, baby. What's my best ever away day? I did Cardiff when we beat them in the Championship. Again, the OGs will remember the vlog for that one. I went with Finn. So yeah, when John Ruddy when Cardiff missed the 2 pens. City away was pretty good when Adama scored twice. United away was quite cool this season as well. So I've managed to do some decent ones. My first ever away game was actually a 4-1 win over Bristol City under Stoll Solbakken. So that wasn't too bad as well. How we keep Totti Gomez? Yeah, he's good. I'm not. Are you happy with the Hanky Chan signing? Not a big fan, if I'm honest, Shane. Dave spent the Wolves Talking Wolves budget on Castor gear, mate. You know it. You know it. Yeah, I think they still have some affiliation with Mendes as well. Oh, Villa away because the performance, Joe, wasn't great, but yeah, the day, you know, Matt Cooper booking a table for a pub, we turn up and, you know, an hour late and expect it still. But yeah, it was a good game. That was great comeback. Yeah, Smoffer went there as well. I think there's a vlog for that, mate, from back in the day. Big Richard Stearman, Andy Vyman. Is Tim Spears going to be a regular guest? Probably not regular, but we'll definitely get him on again. 10K, yeah, I was there. 10K. See, the thing is, a lot of people talking about Hooters. I'm sure they don't allow away fans. I am very confident they don't allow away fans there. I'm sure we've been turned away there before. Do I rate Fabio? He's not doing very well. Well, I rate him, but you say he's not doing. Is he been given a proper chance? Last season, his goal contribution per minute was all right, considering the situation. This season, I think he's been. But look, Jimenez has barely been able to score many goals. I think the service has been a big issue as well. And that's why I'm sort of like, I know there's talk about and people being happy with Jimenez going, but I think I would be satisfied with giving them both another chance. I think we still need to sign another forward, but I think that we need some proper service in there as well. Do you think it's wrong that I support? Where is it? Do you think it's wrong that I support Wolves? My family do because I'm from Wales and they all support Man U, but I love an underdog and I've been supporting Wolves for 2 years. No, ain't nothing wrong with that. You've got the right idea. As long as you don't just support, if we struggle next season, as long as you don't start supporting United. Very negative with Ask Wolves interviews, especially about Steve Bullstand and not willing to look the screens to the roofs. Yeah. People talking about, at one point was Wi-Fi as well. Who's bothered about Wi-Fi in the grounds, man? Who is bothered? Oh, my word. John, you absolute beast. Cheers from Washington, D.C. $10. Yo, the American following. I didn't realize we had this much American followers, so I really do appreciate that, John. Boys, really do. Absolute legends. Wolves are allowed in Hooters at the Cup game this season. Trust me, my mate. Yeah, where did we go for the... I don't know if we went for a drink before that game. I think we went straight in and had a few beers. What was the best game you went to this season? Home ones are a bit boring. I did quite a few aways. Like I said, United was a pretty good one. I enjoyed Forest at the start of the season as well. Yeah, but the thing with Gelhardt is that he has... I would argue that Leeds played a lot more open and positive game than Wolves. The style of play just did not suit any of our forwards. You look at the numbers of Jimenez and minutes, you know. Think, okay, in your mind, Parcels, think, right? In your mind, how many sitters or how many open or clear-cut or decent opportunities has Fabio Silva missed this season? And in the league... I think you'll struggle to find me one. Jeff's got to go. Respect Jeff Shee, Kimbo. Respect Jeff Shee. Nah, but not like earlier in the stream, I said, you know, I wasn't happy with, you know, with what was said. Went to New York and there was a Wolves pub. Whereabouts was that, George? Look, I'm really disappointed that the US tour hasn't come to fruition, but. Only fight. No. That was just that one guy had to donate for me to punch the window. These Americans aren't contributing to it. They actually have a Hooters in the UK. Yeah, they do. In Nottingham, they have one. Why did you change your Wolves head in the background? See, I've still got both, Kevin. So I've got. Well, see, a lot of people know that. I've got on my own house, but it's been done up at the moment. So this will look so much more tidier in the next few months. But I've got my signed shirts here. And I've got the old wolf head here still. This one will look a lot better soon. Obviously, they've got the long wire, but that one is available if somebody wants it and can pay me. Someone did ask, to be fair, and I didn't go back to them. But Shane, yes. Big up the Americans. Another $10. Copy my fellow Yankees. Cheers from Seattle, Washington. Shane, absolute legend. Big up, man. Big up for the support. I really appreciate that. Fabio missed a 1-on-1 against Villa at home, but okay, yeah, okay. What I would argue with that is that he, yeah, I would say he did well there, but he created that all from his own work. He caught, you know, and that was a positive, promising move. In terms of service into him. Him and Jimenez have been on scraps this season. I do not know where any other Hooters bar or grill pub are. Yeah, Diego, I'm disappointed as well, man. We had it ready. I was hoping to go. I've been to America a couple of times, and I was hoping to go and watch Wolves there. It would have been phenomenal, man. Sell you the old one. What are you willing to pay, Andrew? close to Times Square. Watched the game with a few Wolves fans. I had a New Wolves flag. Where was it? Was it Chicago, the one they did recently? Something like that. Tell them to get the Ohio Cup back over 2023. Close to me here in Michigan. Was hoping to come on down. I hope so. I really hope it's soon. I can do a good American accent. I'm just not going to embarrass myself on stream. If these donors keep coming in, Dave's going to put a bid in for Wolves. Mate, just get me in as director of football. Me and Jeff, Scott Sellars, job shots. Yeah, get my words in. Job swap. Huang to score 20 next season. To be fair, the Swiss League for Grasshoppers, I think, it's probably about his level, so he might do all right there. So, the strikers having to play too deep to help out the midfield. Exactly. The gap between the midfield and the attack is just ridiculous. Huang to get loaned out by January. I'll give you a packet of knickknacks and a tenner. I'll just take the tenner. So, yeah, Fabio's been starving. Guys, I think I might end the stream there anyway. It's been 1 hour and 20. I think it'll be Jimenez. Gibbs White will stay. I think that is all. Like I said, this is only meant to be an Ask Wall stream. In the end, we did spoke about a lot. So if you want to watch it back, feel free to do so. I apologize. The first 15-20 minutes was with my webcam mic. I don't really get why that was happening. Be sure to let me know your thoughts and comments. I really do appreciate all the donations, guys, as well. And maybe we'll do something like this again in the future. But loads of you tuned in. I really do appreciate it. Like over 300 of you for most of it. So I'm gonna check out. Be sure to hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Happy bank holiday for the guys in the UK. I'll be sure to try and upload as much content as I can over the next few weeks or so, and we'll keep you up to date as and when we can. But yeah, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll see you very, very soon.